Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
We're here on episode 5, and let's get fucking
She talked about private equity.
nailed it.
Hello, and welcome to Tran Girlismo episode 5. I am your host, Victoria Scott. My pronouns are she and her.
Oh, hi. My name is Jordan Hofstetter. My pronouns are she and her. And one of these days, I will realize that Victoria is not going to prompt me, and I should just self-actualize in these in this intro here.
We only bring girl boss energy to the show. I need you to take charge.
I turned 30. I immediately cut most of my hair off. I dressed in business casual the last 2 days. I am 30 years old, and I am here to be professional.
Well, I'm glad that you've brought that mentality to this episode, because I will be initiating a hostile takeover of listeners' eardrums. Strap the fuck in. I have 2.5 pages of notes on private equity and shadow banking, because this is what it's like to be an auto enthusiast nowadays.
Hello, Beepo. Listeners, a peek behind the curtain here. When last I looked at our show notes, we had what's a good amount of, usually our bullet points for a topic are between, like, I don't know, 3 and 5 individual. Yeah. Victoria has not 1, not 2, but 2.5 full Google Docs pages here on our first
single
topic. Single spaced. It's a humdinger, folks.
So this is what's crucial here, right? It's like, if you are an automotive enthusiast, you probably think to yourself, hi, I have a modified car. Or maybe I have a stock car, it's just old, and I like to wrench on it myself, so I go to Rock Auto, and I exchange currency, probably the US dollar, if you're listening to this show, for goods that have been manufactured for my vehicle. And so you say, okay, cool, I'm going to give them some money, I'm going to get some, brake pads or whatever. You are a simple baby. That is not how the economy works at all. You fool. And so there's a company called First Brands that is about to fuck all your shit up if you've ever wrenched on a car. And I was like, we should talk about this on the show, because, like, you've probably seen a couple of headlines from, like, there's Motor One story I read about this, a Drive story, that, like, Raybestos is the big one. Raybestos is going out of business.
Which, again, I know we used to make brake pads out of asbestos. But in the year of our Lord, 2026, still owning and operating a company with best asbestos in it is diabolical work. It's like
founded in 1902.
It's like if Blackwater changed their name back. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you didn't have to tell us that. Like, you should have hidden your history at a certain point.
I just constantly think of the Simpsons bit where Homer finds a bag that says asbestos. He's like, oh, and he rubs it a little bit and it says the best asbestos. And he goes, ooh. And then he rubs it again and it says not the best asbestos. And he goes, oh.
They just bulldozed a bunch of derelict houses in Pittsburgh, and everyone was just to be like, hey, like, did y'all do asbestos mitigation before you just tore all of these old houses down? And the answer was like, we sprayed it, it's fine, don't you worry about it. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool.
But I worked at when I was at NASA, I worked in the Mission Control Building, which was built in the 60s, and that entire, like, whenever a floor tile cracked, they had to call in a hazmat team. Because it was like, it's fine if you don't touch it, but the minute you start, like, messing around with ceiling tiles or whatever, they had to, like, cordon off entire rooms and line them in plastic so we didn't all die of, I don't know why they cared, because, like, I'm sure there was so much, like, heavy metal poisoning in the land surrounding the building that, like, walking to and from the parking lot would probably kill me. But in any case, Ray Bestos.
Well, that was just Texas. Yes, Ray Bestos. I'm so sorry.
They're going out of business. And,
yeah, fuck them. I mean, what? Huh?
No, they have been less good lately, but they were for a while one of the better like OEM replacement brake pad suppliers. It was kind of like how they were not your like high tier stuff, but they were not like going to the dealership, but they were like a step below that.
I was always a stop tech girly, which I know is also caught up in this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, we should report on this. This is going to be important. If you work on a car, like this is gone. Fram future is questionable. Cardone is questionable. Centric, StopTech, Rebestos, Trico, the windshield wiper company, those are all gone. Probably. Nobody seemed to step in to buy them. Autolite, the spark plug manufacturer, also questionable. Like, there's a lot. This is a huge problem.
It's a really big one. Sorry, the phrase "fram is questionable" is going to be a new thing that bounces around in my head for the rest of the week. Fram's questionable right now. I'm so sorry. I don't know about Fram. You've got to beat me on
I'm not sure if they're going to make it. I'm not sure if Fram's going to make it.
Also caught in this, Tubi, Quibi, Freebo.
So, to give some context, because we cannot fall directly from the coconut tree for a story of this complexity, there's a man named Patrick James who went to the College of Worcester, which was like half an hour from where I grew up, insanely. I like applied there for undergrad.
You could have run this alleged scam.
Yes. He started buying auto parts companies as the like conglomerate called Crown Group in 2013, and he used debt-financed acquisitions. He purchased 24 companies, including all the ones that are, going under now. In 2020, the holding company for all these became First Brands. They changed the name because he bought enough companies. I don't know how private equity guys work. If you are familiar with private equity, however, the song and dance of a debt-financed acquisition is probably familiar. If you are not familiar with it, it's when you borrow money to buy a company using the assets and projected earnings of the company you're buying to pay back the loan for the company you're buying.
It's the reason why any brand that you have loved from the early 2000s has basically gone tits up. Hooters got tits up to Hooters is a crazy segue, but like this is why Hooters is gone. Also, I hate Hooters. I don't know why my brain was like they killed Hooters. This is what happened to Toys R Us. This is what happens to like every nostalgia brand gets basically sold to itself to destroy itself, and so that like guys like Mitt Romney could strip the corpse for meat or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, basically the idea is private equity does this where they'll put up like it's usually like somewhere between 60-40 and 80-20, where it's like most of the money for the acquisition actually comes from debt you are saddling the company you're buying with, and you're only putting up a small fraction of it yourself. Private equity loves this practice because you don't have to dilute shares by like creating more and selling them to raise money. You don't have to have anywhere near as much cash up front because you don't have to actually buy the whole business. You just saddle it with debt. PE, the firm that's buying the company, the private equity individuals themselves, don't actually carry the debt. It gets directly put on the books of the business. So if it does go tits up, they aren't exposed beyond whatever, 20 to 40% that they put into it of their own cash. So it keeps their risk very minimal. And obviously it destroys tens of thousands of people's livelihoods, but like that's ancillary, right? Like, because the whole point of doing something like this is it is a great practice for line go up and to the right in a short, medium time frame. Basically, what you do is you buy a company that's doing, they're okay. They could probably make it a little bit longer if you cared. But what your goal is here is like, you are swinging for the fences every time a ball approaches you. You are either going to hit a home run or you're going to strike out immediately. And so they've got a name for this. They call it the PEJ curve. I found out while I was researching this fucking episode, which is basically like you put a little tiny bit of money in, your assets dip down, and then they skyrocket forever because that's how capitalism works. Returns, they always just go up. The rate of profit never tends to fall. That shit is rock solid and you're always going to make more money. That's how it works, right?
I love it. I love the fuck it we ball economy. It's reasonable. It's good that we can live like this. I love economy that is so efficient at consuming goods and money that now you can't even trade money for goods. It's really functionally incredible that we've done this.
Yeah. The thing that I will say about this is like any finance guy who's listening to this is going to be like, well, what Vicky is describing here.
There's no finance guy.
Well, I'm going to make sure there aren't any after this. If any finance guy is listening to this, going to be like, oh, that's a normal practice. And that's true. This is actually like a debt finance acquisition is not that big of a deal in America. And it's because this country is a diseased animal begging to either be saved or put down. But this is normal. There are success stories from private equity. They are a lot less high profile and rare than the ones where they beat him into the ground. And it's a success story for the 6 guys who have the money, not anybody who works there or people who use the product. This is an extractive process. The goal is to take the company private, make enough money that you can IPO it a few years later and cash out, or drive it into the ground. You are not in it for the long haul here. Like this is an in and out operation. This is the one night stand of corporate ownership.
Unless it's Aston Martin, in which case, no, everyone keeps dumping money into that motherfucker, and it's never once worked. A brand so diseased that they can't even shut it down for value. It's just, they're going to make another James Bond thing eventually. You gotta keep doing it.
So now for the finance guys that are listening, they're going to be like, well, Vicky's a raving communist, to which you're correct. However, they will say, the worst excesses of this model are kept in check because, the money that gets put on the books of the company you're buying, it still has to come from somewhere, and it's usually lent by banks. And so they do want to get their money back. They're not going to lend out the money if you drive the company into the ground immediately because they're not going to get paid back. So they won't lend. So they act as one of the checks. The other check on, the worst sort of manifestations of this behavior is theoretically on the private equity firms themselves, because they still want to make money. Their goal eventually here is either to like relaunch the company, find another buyer, whatever, do another public offering. They want their money out of it. They're not staying out here for the long haul. So the goal is to keep it alive. Maybe it's sicker, in terms of like how it actually offers products to its end client or like its employees, but you can't destroy it entirely. That doesn't really benefit them. So in theory, the invisible hand of the market self-polices everything, and it doesn't just jerk off 5 guys who have $1 billion. Go ahead.
I don't think Five Guys has been. I don't think they've leveraged by having 5 guys yet. Ah, fuck. I want a burger so bad now. God damn it, Vicky. God fucking damn it.
5 Guys and the Invisible Hand was probably something I watched when I was in sophomore year of college. Anyway. Babe, what are you doing?
Victoria's
you filled the apartment with smoke. Yeah. I'm like choking on like a tear gas bomb that you're cooking.
Sorry, I'm cooking yakisoba. Sorry.
My wife is making yakisoba capsaicin style. Please forgive my coughing. Anyway, so
I'll try to cut it out. No, I'm not editing this one. Haha. Sorry, Stella. Sorry, baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cough directly into the microphone. It's just that, my wife is like running a hibachi restaurant in our 600 square foot apartment while I'm recording. No, okay. So, it's worth noting that like, it's not really self-policing. A study as of 2019, so this is even before COVID kind of caused even worse contraction of sort of like normal people but jobs, Private equity have been found guilty of destroying 1.3 million retail jobs with a wildly disproportionate impact on women and people of color. 1 in 5 PE companies goes bankrupt, which is about 10 times the rate of non-PE owned companies. So no, the model still sucks, even when it's done, quote, correctly, because the whole thing is slash and burn. You look very alarmed.
Sorry, I live in Pennsylvania now. I have family that has lived in West Virginia. I like to... You are truly getting gassed in there. Oh, fuck. We're doing so good. This is such a good podcast. I always view retail establishments dying as how many coal industries did they just lay off? Because we talk about coal in this country a lot. Do you know there are 45,000 coal miners?
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Only 45,000. So I was
it's
doing
like the
1.3
population
million.
of like Cheyenne, Wyoming. There's like
Mount
all the coal
Lebanon
miners
outside of Pittsburgh has the coal miners of the world, basically. Not of the world, of America.
Yeah, so, millions of people's livelihoods have been played with by these people. However, so I've painted a pretty grim picture of private equity here, I would say, I think. They're kind of the enemy of humanity, and they are Satan personified. Now, you might say to yourself, damn, this First Brands thing sounds pretty bad. Well, the First Brands thing isn't private equity. It's one guy named Patrick James, the guy who went to College of Worcester. He is somehow worse than private equity. And that's where this gets fascinating. That's where this goes from...
this was boring. I really thought this one was going to be boring, where it was just like us talking about how it's a bummer that all these good brake brands died. And then I saw your novella you wrote about Patrick James, and I was just like, what the fuck happened here?
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like this could have been a normal Toys R Us situation where they drove the company into the ground, stripped it for parts. Toys R Us was a really egregious example of private equity because they realized they weren't going to get their money back. So what they did was they sold. It was a real estate company that was one of the PE firms that bought Toys R Us, and they forced Toys R Us to sell all their land to the real estate company, and then had Toys R Us lease back their own stores from the PE firm to basically shovel as much money from Toys R Us over to the PE guys as quickly as possible. Deeply evil, still somehow less bad than what First Brands has done, because what First Brands has done is... so now I have to introduce another concept. Now that you're familiar with how private equity works and how it should theoretically function and police itself, we're going to break that model. So there was this little thing in 2008 called the global financial crisis. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, it warped our childhoods forever, probably.
Yeah, it's kind of why I have sort of Great Depression grandma plastic bag hoarding habits, more or less.
Well, I thought that's just because you needed everything you could get in the vault.
So as after 2008, when there were more banking regulations and the lending environment was less favorable to people kind of doing creative financial shit, there were a lot of conglomerates. Yeah, a lot of conglomerates like First Brands shifted away from using banks, and they started relying on private credit, which is called, technical name for this is kind of non-bank financial intermediaries, is what they call it. NBFIs, I think. The real name for it is shadow banking. That is what they actually call this in the Financial Times, which is really funny. It's basically
Shadow Wizard Money Gang.
It's basically going to a pawn shop for corporations. You're like, hey, I got some shit that I'm just gonna leave out here for a bit, and hopefully nobody buys it. But can I get some money for it? And they say yes. That is the incredible over 10,000 foot view of this. The way that this basically works is First Brands would go to the shadow banker. I don't know. They go to a guy in an alleyway with a trench coat and some watches inside it, and they're like, hey man, I would like financing via something that is called third-party factoring. So the way the third-party factoring works is basically you borrow money against the value of an unpaid invoice. And then the lender of that money will be the one who collects the invoice. This takes the loans that you're getting and keeps them off of the balance sheet so the company looks healthier than it actually is. It basically, a legitimate reason for this, I called my accounting friend who is listening right now, and hopefully I'm doing a good job. He's the one I was going to buy the Buick Roadmaster from, so maybe if I do a good enough job, he'll cut me. I'll be able to leverage some invoices for that thing. Third party factoring my wood paneled station wagon.
Is it a Woody?
Yeah, it's a wood paneled Buick Roadmaster.
Oh my god.
LT1. It's got like 280 horsepower, 400 foot-pounds of torque. It can tow 7,000 pounds. It's got the tow package on it.
The people's FF. The American Ferrari FF.
It seats like 8 transsexuals. I got picked up from the psych ward in it. It's awesome. I love that thing.
Well, obviously, it's got to be yours eventually.
Yeah, Drew, if you're listening, hopefully I'm doing a good job on this. But basically, the legitimate reason for this is that if you're a supplier, like a parts conglomerate that sells brake pads, it allows you to like give away your inventory. Wait, you can wait 90 days or whatever for like a normal sort of like Walmart-esque, like, yeah, we'll pay you back later, like how they usually run small companies into the ground by making them wait where they have no money and no inventory. You can kind of skip that step and have the money in the meantime. This also can get incredibly sketchy, though, as you could probably imagine, which is why banks don't usually do it anymore.
There's what this reminds me of? Getting paid on a net 90 for a freelance gig.
Yes. If you're a company, you can borrow against your net 90. And if you're a person, you have to eat ramen for 3 months. I sent you to the Shapes place. A lot of people have asked about the Shapes place. The Shapes place is when Jordan takes her fingers and shoves them into her eyes so that the backs of her eyelids make really pretty shapes.
It's sometimes... I don't know. I find I often have to take my glasses off while we record this show. Not for any reason other than I've seen enough of our world. But yeah, I'm glad so many people are bonding with the idea of the Shapes place.
Yeah, I somebody was like, is that like an autism stem thing? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it could be.
I have a single digit RADS R score.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm not autistic. Yeah, sorry. Anyone who ever was just like, wow, Jordan's like, what a Model T girl. I'm not like a girl into the Model T. Like, No, yeah. One time when they were diagnosing my treatment-resistant depression, which you could probably tell I have based on the bags under my eyes and the
the fact that you're recording a podcast with me.
Well, they were like, well, maybe it's autistic burnout, and I was like, well, I don't know. I am one of like 4 people to ever be diagnosed with sensory integration disorder as a child, and then not be an autistic adult. So yeah, I was halfway through the diagnostic and she was like leaned over, was like, hey, you're not autistic, but you paid for this. So like we should just finish it. And I was like, all right, lady. Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
You failed the RADS R.
I failed the niche E-girl T-girl test. And
I have taken the RADS R and I was on the bubble, and then I did the facial thing where you're like, what emotion are these people feeling based on their eyes? And I was like, people can tell? I went through it, and I failed to a degree that it seemed like I tried to do bad at it.
Can you?
And that one was concerning.
Huh. Every day I learn things.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go to a doctor and be like, hey, could you write down another thing about me that the government will probably want to kill me for later? Absolutely
not. When Robert Fortnite Kennedy Jr. is working out in jeans and building lists.
Oh my God.
Can we talk about
Do you think he and Kid Rock are sitting in the sauna writing down all the ailments they're going to kill you for?
Fuck. I was like,
God.
do I have... working out in jeans is actually really good for you. And I don't know. I love our current reality because a politician whose every single bit of life is scandal is now like, he's not even like, look, that's the health secretary. It's the guy who's talking about doing coke off of toilet seats.
Leaving a bear carcass in Central Park is table stakes for this administration.
And working out in jeans.
He did a cold dunk in jeans, which I thought was just the sickest shit I've ever seen it from a public official. And I have read through the Epstein files.
Yeah, he's a real fucking freak. He's not on there. I don't think.
No, but he went into a cold dip with fucking jeans on.
Not even Kissinger wore jeans in a pool. Shadow banking, right? We've got to
shadow banking. Okay, so factoring. You go to a bank. You go to a shadow banker. You say, "Hey, I'd like some money on this invoice," and they're like, "Oh," you give them the invoice, and they say, "Okay, I'll go chase down this invoice. In the meantime, here's 80 or 90% of the money that the invoice is worth. I'll go get this later. Don't worry about it." You can do also reverse factoring, which they did here too, which is where you borrow against accounts payable versus accounts receivable, which seems insane to me. I fully admit that this is kind of where I started to lose it, because I was like, this just seems like fraud. Apparently, totally legal. Is
not real.
None of this is real. The big thing I learned about all this is that, like, I don't know, man. I think we're gonna have to do something about like the banks again. This seems like it's an environment ripe for a first brand situation. So,
the gritty reboot of Occupy Wall Street.
Here's where it gets even worse, right? One of the primary lenders for First Brands is this company called Jeffries. Serious, that's what it's called.
Jeffries, the New York financiers.
So they don't even take deposits or underwrite their own loans. What they do is they build the risk into something called a collateralized loan obligation, which, direct quote from the Financial Times, which I will put in the show notes, they describe these as, quote, investment vehicles that transform risky loans into bonds with pristine credit ratings through the alchemy of securitization, end quote.
What the
Which to me also sounds like a way of saying, somehow this is legal.
When you're invoking alchemy in your
and you're
financial
the
dealings.
Times, that's. I was like, you know what? I don't get it, but I don't need to if that's how they're describing it. So basically, First Brands does their financing via factoring up until last year, and then because of the economic slowdown from tariffs, everything went sideways really fast. Like, they missed hundreds of millions of dollars in interest payments overnight. At which point everybody's kind of like, shit. So in September, the Financial Times reported that Apollo Global Management had built up this massive short position against First Brand's debt, basically going on Polymarket and saying, hey, I bet these guys can't actually pay their debts off. And Apollo is apparently like the Chad of short selling. I don't know how Polymarket works. I don't know how Apollo Global Management works. But people took notice, and all the creditors got really anxious, and they were like, hey, could we actually see that you can pay us back? Or, like, could we get paid back early? And First Brands immediately files for bankruptcy. They're like, nope, we have no money. They had liabilities somewhere between $10 and $50 billion on $1 to $10 billion in assets. When they checked they had revenues of $5 billion in 2024. Like, they were bringing in an absurd amount of money. They had $12 million in cash in their bank account at the time of the bankruptcy filing, which is the Patrick Star, I have $3 of corporations. They did $5 billion in business. They had $12 million in cash. This is like a quarter. It's a nickel. It's nothing. You're laughing at me.
I'm laughing at the just thinking about how if I dip under my like how many emails I get if my account is under a certain threshold checking wise, and I'm just like, motherfucker, like your low balance alert is on. Cool. Rocket money for shadow banks.
So you might say, how does this happen? Because after all, shouldn't the creditors be the ones chasing after the invoices? And the answer is no. What they would do is they would submit their invoices to accounts payable and then borrow against those, getting the lender to pay them directly through this instead of actually paying the suppliers.
It's the fucking salad oil scam.
It is 100% the salad oil scam. Yes! I was like, oh my god, this is insane. We're doing this every fucking 15 years. Somebody has to reinvent banking scams from first principles.
Well, you know what happened to derail the news cycle from the salad oil scandal, right?
No, I don't remember, actually.
They exploded JFK's head in Dallas, so... No commentary further on that statement. That's just a factual statement.
Damn, that's crazy. His head did that. I wonder whose else's head could do that.
A head explosion so legendary, they named a game after it. Hey, did you see... Speaking of Fortnite, kinda. Did you see Fred's post about seeing the fucking Sony Honda car at some ball and the little LED screen along where the badge is just was displaying a poorly cropped Fortnite logo? Imagine being the pedestrian that gets hit by some streaming Gen Alpha kid. And the last thing you see is just a little logo off-center of Fortnite as a car hits you at 40 miles an hour.
Oh, I love living in hell.
It's fun.
So back to our shadow banking, right? So
yes.
because they were borrowing against their invoices submitted to accounts payable and they were getting the lender to pay them directly, instead of like having them go chase down the invoices, they were able to like build up billions of dollars in outstanding debts across like dozens of different creditors by, at least partially, it seems to be, this is the federal indictment, I'll get to that. But they were using the same invoices on several different creditors to be like, hey, I need $3 billion for these brakes I'm selling to Walmart. And then you go to like another lender and be like, hey, see this invoice? I need $3 billion for the brakes I'm selling to Walmart or whatever, right? But they're basically triple dipping. I don't know how they expected to pay any of this off. I think it was just a Ponzi scheme where it was like, as long as we continue expanding fast enough, we can just keep paying for this.
Eventually you have enough money personally, and then you get to go to a non-extradition country. So, you know. Yeah,
so this is where it stops being illegal. This is finally, you are not allowed to triple dip on an invoice going to your shadow banker. But it's just very easy to hide, because the whole point of shadow banking, and by doing this kind of like weird sort of like invoice collection strategy, is it allows you to keep all of this money off the balance sheet. And so nobody can really like look unless they do diligence. And nobody really did their diligence here. It was very like, it's very kind of like the minute people started looking at this closely, like, oh, we're fucked. But nobody did that until everything went sideways. Global credit rating agency Morningstar DBRS stated that, quote, the collapse of First Brands is likely to become a real-world stress test for the trade credit ecosystem at the intersection of insured receivables and private credit. So that's not good. When your global credit rating agency starts Sephiroth posting,
yeah,
you've got a problem with your banking system.
Genova will reckon with the fucking fall of you said the intersection of, say those nonsense words again.
The intersection of insured receivables and private credit.
Oh, please, someone make a Supreme collab drop logo of those two phrases. New art and technology intersection just dropped, babe.
And so this is where it went from, okay, well, this is bad. It might cause a small-scale financial crisis, to then the feds got involved, and it gets worse. The former CEO, Patrick James, and his former senior executive, Edward James, his brother, they were two brothers. No word as to whether they were in a van or not. I just psychically harmed at least somebody in the audience.
Was that a Mario joke?
No, it was a
no. I guess they're just
to the
plumbers.
first
They never
season
have a van.
of Rick and Morty.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's rattled. They do a bit in their like improv episode that's like two brothers in a van, and it has rattled around my head for the past 7 years.
The only Rick and Morty bit I think I truly enjoy in No Notes is the quick adventure in and out 5 minutes to wailing, screaming, everything was so fucked, because that's what being alive the last 8 years has felt like.
The unfortunate thing is I actually think that the first season of Rick and Morty was kind of funny.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think the minute that it realized that it was kind of had an audience and then it started trying to appeal to that audience, it lost the plot very rapidly.
You mean
also, again,
like...
as with most creative enterprises with like funny guys, comedians specifically, they need guardrails. It's the Jeremy Clarkson problem we talked about in the Top Gear episode, right? Where it's like the minute that you are no longer railing against the people who are telling you not to make the jokes, you lose it entirely. You're just not funny anymore.
Yeah, cannot wait. Also, I feel like Adult Swim shows are cooked the second they have entered unlicensed smoke shop territory. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the second you could buy like a Pickle Rick bong, like then your show's over. So I look forward to Smiling Friends now being over because I saw a Pim pipe the other day at a smoke shop through a window.
I was just
going
to get into that show.
Smiling Friends is good. Like, look, I don't like a lot of, unfortunately, animated characters having very realistic conversations is one of those things that I will always find funny.
I loved BoJack. I get it.
Yeah, you're more depressed than I am, which is why you loved BoJack. You looked so happy, ironically, while saying that. You're like, yeah, I am. Yeah. These brothers are gonna spend the rest of their lives in prison, right?
Oh, yeah. They've been federally charged with wire fraud, bank fraud, conspiracy to commit same, conspiracy to commit money laundering, because $2.3 billion, billion with a B, have, as per a creditor, simply vanished from the company. No one knows where these $2.3 billion are. And yeah, these are I mean, what will probably happen, like 10 years ago, I think they would get buried under the federal prison. Like, these are not the kind of crimes that you fuck around with because you're screwing over the people with money, which is what you actually get punished for with financial crimes. You can commit crimes downward. You cannot commit them upward in terms of social strata. But like, what it's probably going to happen now is like, I'm assuming these guys will like call up Trump and be like, we're such big fans of yours. And he'll like pardon them or whatever.
Yeah, and then he's Secretary of the Treasury or whatever.
Yeah. They're like, one of them is going to be tapped after Kash Patel like finally like ODs on whatever research chemicals he is constantly on.
He's probably. Did you see he was with the U.S. men's hockey team in?
I did. Yes.
And so people were like, "Is it illegal to have cocaine in Italy? Yes, no, just asking." Which the answer, knowing Italy, probably not. If you're a little cool with it, which Cash is sure not. So,
can you get arrested? Is being cringe a crime in Italy?
Yes.
Sound off in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think the Inquisition was about? That's Spain. That's Spain. That's Spain.
Yeah,
that's
Spain.
I meant to say the Crusades, and that's on me.
So I've got a quote here from the FBI assistant director in charge of this case, James C. Barnacle Jr.
Nope. Nope.
I swear to God, that's his name.
I hate our government so much.
You don't like Jimmy
James
Barnacle
C.
Jr.?
That's fucking. That's Mermaid Man's fucking. That's Mermaid. This is a very SpongeBob episode, but it's fucking Mermaid Man's sidekick. James C. He calls his penis the barnacle. I am so sorry to any woman who has ever had sex with this man. So sorry to any man who ever had sex with that man. He has to hang out with Kash Patel now, and you know Kash is trying to get barnacle jokes in there. Like,
oh my God, yeah. Well, so this is a quote from him. Quote, "These executives allegedly inflated invoices, double and triple pledged collateral, and falsified financial statements to unlawfully trick lenders into giving them billions of dollars." End quote. That is in the indictment. Now, you might think, wow, these guys are fucked, right? It gets worse. First Brands, the company, has sued Patrick James in bankruptcy court, alleging that he looted the company of those billions of dollars to fund his lavish lifestyle and raised money by selling non-existent invoices. So he wasn't, like, they're alleging that the invoices didn't even exist, and he was just like, yeah, I sold these parts. Don't look too close. I'll get the money later. Don't worry about it. Just you know. This guy is really secretive. There's a really good Financial Times story that I will link in the show notes, but, like, no one knows anything about him. He apparently moved here from Malaysia when he was younger, and, like, then lived a life of complete seclusion. Like, he was in deep with some weird Catholic charity. That, like, they were. Yeah, they were like. He lives in Ohio in, like, a compound-ish house that nobody ever sees him at. He has a ton of bodyguards. He's got to be weird as hell. Like,
he's a background character in a Hitman game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you've got to infiltrate the guy who, like, listen, 47. This guy is why you can't get fucking brake pads anymore for a reasonable rate. Somehow Project Moo fucking brake pads are the reasonable option on the secondary market.
Your client in this is somebody with a 1990s Ford Ranger who's just personally pissed off they can't go to Rock Auto anymore.
God damn it, I just need a fucking drum brake or I'm gonna fuck.
Anyway, so you know, this is another great quote I love. Quote, "We don't know whether this case is a business with fraud attached or a fraud with a business attached," an attorney for some of the creditors left hanging said. Which I think is a great, like, that is one of those that you're ready to get that read to you in court, and you're like, yeah.
Chat,
the printed tweet of financial statements.
I really, I know I implied the fuck it we ball economy earlier, but I do love that post-2008 financial crisis where, again, like the Civil War, America could have learned some really good hard lessons had we just punished people appropriately. Instead, we now get to read statements like, is this a business with fraud attached or a fraud with a business? Like, that's how they used to talk about when the mob would, like, run the garbage. You know what I mean? They're like, look, this is a scam, but, like, we are getting our garbage picked up. So, you know, they're not doing anything.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that it's worth keeping in mind here is, like, as you pointed out, a lot of the first order steps are legal. And to, like, reiterate, we don't really have any idea, and this is kind of why I decided to do this as a whole episode. We don't have any idea how exposed the rest of the economy is to this type of collapse, because 90% of this debt was financed through shadow banking. We have no idea, in, like, this instance, who's out billions of dollars. There was another high-profile automotive bankruptcy recently that appears to, from a glance at it at least, I mean, obviously I'm not an accountant, so I don't know, but it's this lending firm called Tricolor, and they basically just did subprime loans for used cars. And they just went bankrupt, and they did a lot of shadow banking, and they're out hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. I can't remember exactly what magnitude. But it's difficult to say, like, what damage has this done? How much money are they out? Because none of this shows up easily. This could have second and third order effects that are massive, and we are only beginning to see the tip of the iceberg. I think it is entirely possible that, like, the fact that you can't get brake pads is like the beginning of the end, a la 2008, when it's like Lehman Brothers goes under. Like, it's insane that there's this much exposure to something serious. I don't know if that's the case. Like, maybe it's fine. Maybe it blows over fine. I will say, Jamie Dimon, head of J.P. Morgan Chase, and traditionally a very conservative lender, who did find himself out some money from this, which is very strange, because it's not the kind of bank scam that J.P. Morgan Chase usually gets drawn into. He said, quote, "I probably shouldn't say this." You always know it's going to be a good one when he says that. "But when you see one cockroach, there are probably more." End quote.
Hello, sir. I am your lawyer. Please keep talking. This is great. Please keep saying shit like, "Everyone go get your money from the bank tomorrow. The look on the economy's face will be really funny."
Regarding this bankruptcy and the implosion of Tricolor, both of these, I think people are kind of realizing that, like, shadow banking is going to be a really big problem, because we know for a fact that America, according to like a recent IMF study, International Monetary Fund, American and European banks currently have lent out $4.5 trillion with a T to private credit firms. So who knows? Is that money being used well? Is it being used fraudulently? What's going on with it? Well, it's explicitly meant to not be regulated like a bank, which is why people rely on it. So I would be somewhat concerned. Now, as a communist, I'm always concerned. I'm always anxious. The material conditions, they're not good, and so therefore I'm always anxious. But interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Much to consider.
I am picturing the meme of the dinosaurs looking up at the meteor coming. The one that got passed around a lot in early 2020 of just, oh shit, the economy. But now I'm just like, fuck, I can't get any brake pads.
Yeah. Autolite, Brake Parts, Cardone, StopTech, and Raybestos are all done. They couldn't find buyers in bankruptcy court, so they are just gone. Rock Auto is probably gonna. I mean, I don't know Rock Auto specifically. I read an automotive news story where they talked to a big supplier. So and they were like, "Yeah, we'll sell out our inventory, and then we're done." Which is, I would say, a problem.
I would say, well, there's. And I'm killed instantly by the podcast snipers. Hey, whoever saw me in public earlier this week, thank you for being so nice. It was so weird that it happened a couple of times. I only caught Maya's name. Hi, Maya. But also, the person who said that we are the Pittsburgh to, well, they're your problems, Philadelphia, that made me very happy. That made me feel good. Dog, this is like, we're gonna talk about like two more disasters of companies. One of which I actually think we're gonna be pretty positive about. We're gonna talk about film. We're gonna talk about film extendedly, and I'm very excited. But like, when I had not looked at our notes for a while, and then I saw this explosion, I was just like, how many, like, I don't know. We lost Sparko to basically being stripped for private equity. We lost Cobb Tuning basically to private equity, and also the EPA. Like, we lost a lot of tuning companies to the EPA. Some good, some bad. I mean, Cobb Tuning's still around, but like, in a very neutered form. I just, what's going to be bad is the next time an automaker goes bust, like a real one. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw a name out there, Stellantis. When they
Oh, that'd be crazy.
when they finally explode, it's gonna be like, dog, do we bail out any
Oh,
part of
they're
the auto industry ever again?
well, and so this is the thing, right? From the parts perspective, like GM held apparently like a basically an emergency meeting. Ford is apparently also strategically nervous about the first brand's collapse. So they have a lot. That suggests they have a lot of exposure to it, and they're like companies. People like I think regular people are going to get fucked over by this incredibly heavily. I don't know for sure, but like that's my guess. And as far as like, a hypothetical car company, like, oh, I don't know, Stellantis collapsing. My genuine belief with Stellantis, and this is not journalism. Everything I just did, that was actually like, close to journalism. That was like, I tried to be accurate and
That's
I did
as close
research.
as we're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. The next thing I'm going to say, this is pure conjecture. Okay, I think Stellantis is aiming to be as unwoke as possible, knowing that their finances are probably fucked. So then when they were inevitably going to go under anyway. I mean, I saw the Charger Daytona EV. Come on. When they go under anyway, they're going to be like, Mr. President, we are keeping true American patriots in endless supply of hemispherical head V8s. May we please have $10 billion? And he'll be like, sure, take it from the tariff slush fund that I totally didn't get rid of after the Supreme Court told me I had to reimburse everybody.
Mr. President, they don't make the Camaro anymore. We need a $30,000 car to sell new Marines.
It's for national security purposes.
For national security that we must continue to make the Dodge Charger. Please, Mr. President.
I saw my first ever Charger Daytona EV downtown in Seattle recently, a block from the building that ICE is in, the federal courthouse, and I was like, that feels spiritually appropriate.
Yeah.
Probably with that $50,000 bonus, you get that sign on, to brutalize your neighbors. Go take that check still warm to the nearest Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram dealership. Trade it in for one of the least inspiring EVs I've ever seen made. Sweet deal all around. That's how the economy works, baby.
How many different Chrysler models do you think you could buy right now? It's just the one, right?
The Pacifica.
It's just the Pacifica, right?
Yeah, well, and they got rid of the Pacifica, the plug-in Pacifica, I'm pretty sure.
That was the one I saw.
I guess I can fact check myself mid-episode.
Christ.
But they got rid. I know they got rid of the PHEV Jeeps because they kept catching on fire. I don't know if the Pacifica.
Oh my God! It's just the Pacifica or the Voyager, which is just a bigger Pacifica, nicer Pacifica. What the fuck is a Voyager?
Do they still make this? The Chrysler Pacifica hybrid minivan was discontinued. Okay. This is probably... Oh, no, they do still... Okay, they still make a 2026 model plug-in hybrid Pacifica that is not covered by the Jeep explosion hazard, apparently. Which sucks, because I thought the Wrangler 4xe was awesome. I fully admit I was the one sicko who fucking loved that thing. I thought it was cool as hell, and I was really sad when they discontinued it. The plug-in hybrid Pacifica is apparently lovely from what I hear. It's an honest van. It does start at $46,000 now, though. Jesus Christ.
That's what a minivan costs these days.
God.
Like every minivan on the market right now is north of $40K.
Okay, so the Pacifica. Which is, I also note, the lowest ranked vehicle in minivans for car and drivers rankings currently.
No doubt. That car came out, I think, in 2016. So it's old. Like every bit of the Stellantis line. I saw a Dodge Hornet the other day, and then I had to realize, I'm like, oh my God. It's an Alfa Romeo, right?
Yeah, it's a Tonale. It's also, like, if you ever go to a Dodge Hornet, like, Reddit owners thread, it is like, wow, this is cruel what we did to people who bought these. like they are inventing electrical issues that we have not seen since like Thatcher era like rovers.
Well, again, I love Alfa Romeo. My dream garage includes an Alfa Romeo. I'm a 4C girly at heart. I love that little fucking thing so much.
Yeah.
The electrical issues are what you expect. Badge engineering an American car out of an Italian car? What are you fucking doing? How does that get boardroom approval anywhere at Dodge?
It also purportedly really pissed off Alpha because they were like, what are you doing, like ruining our premium like crossover we're trying to break into the US market by putting a Dodge badge on it and undercutting us. This is what I read. I don't know if it was obviously like, all hearsay and unreported figures or whatever, but it makes sense to me. Which
Dodge,
to me suggests
Hornet,
that like
Stellantis,
every big car conglomerate is kind of a bunch of different companies in a trench coat, right? The more you talk to the PR departments, you realize this. But Stellantis is literally like 3 children stacked on each other's shoulders in a trench coat. It's insane.
Mr. Human Adult Man from fucking BoJack.
BoJack Horseman, They really just do not seem to even like each other. They're like a bad roommate situation.
Yeah, it's still...
You want to see them get a divorce because you think they'd both be happier.
It really feels like they are the mountain goats of car companies right now, because it's real no children vibe at Stellantis. Yeah. Wow. It like Peugeot is maybe the most... Peugeot and Citroën are the most real brands in this list, and it includes Dodge, Fiat, Jeep, and so many other like legacy brands. This is a nightmare.
I mean, I think Jeep is still printing money, and I think that's kind of how they stayed afloat. Is like Jeep is kind of a big money printer that can keep any, or Jeep is sort of like the cursed amulet that you pick up and you're like, this is going to save my fortune. And it's pretty soon the only thing making any money for you. And it's destroyed the rest of your company is falling down around you. And you're like, oh my God, Jeep is saving me. But it also was what cursed you.
Alfa Romeo should badge engineer a Jeep Wrangler pickup. Just if they're pissed about the Hornet, just yoink one of ours. It'll be fine. Oh God. Quadrifoglio Gladiator. God, I forgot how dumb the Jeep names are. Speaking of dumb things.
Great segue. Oh my God.
I could have kept talking about Peugeot and talk about other French nightmares.
No, this is a much better segue.
Yeah. A very funny thing has happened in the world of motorsports after a previous very funny thing, and also one of the most troubling things that I've ever seen in Formula One. You want to get to it, Victoria?
Yeah, please. This is all you. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Earlier this week, which is actually now last week, probably when you're listening to this, because of when the show comes out, Alpine announced, much to the horror of everyone who lives in the town where their factory is for their motorsports efforts, Renault announced that they would be shutting down the Alpine, WEC team at the end of the 2026 season. They have been competing in Hypercar and Formula One, both for a couple years now. The Alpine Hypercar, that was a completely new effort. Renault had not done top end sports car racing in a good long while. And then the Alpine Formula One team is just a rebrand of the Renault Formula One team, which was the Lotus Formula One team. And then it was the Renault Formula One team. Formula One's really straightforward and normal. So let's start at the beginning of this story. Alpine got introduced to Formula One for the 2021 season. And they were genuinely pretty successful. Despite having their kind of bottom of the pack Formula One power unit. They won a race with Esteban Ocon, which I love that little French twink who's rapidly aging out of twinkdom. And Fernando Alonso got a podium.
Are we talking like a bear track? Or are we talking like a T-girl track?
We're talking he's gonna look like one half of a European couple who's really trying to swing with you on vacation. That's where Ocon's going. Oh, my God.
So you're saying that Daniel Craig is still in play.
Craig is still in play. Yes.
Okay, we're good then.
No Time to Die did so well. I finally watched No Time to Die. Fuck it, this show is so rambly this week. No Time to Die really kind of landed the plane that was Spectre's uncontrolled descent toward terrain. You know what I mean? It was all right. Anyways.
I've distracted you from French twinks.
Late in 2024, Renault announced that after towards this year, 2026, we have a new engine formula in Formula One for the first time since 2014. It is a really big change, and it also comes with an aerodynamics revolution, which means it's a very high effort, high dollar time to be in Formula One. When is it not? For this rule cycle, Renault announced that they were stopping building their F1 engines for the first time since the aughts, that they would not be producing a Formula One powertrain. There was much French labor grumblings that they might even strike at some races in 2025 where they were still using their own engines, which did not come to pass. But what could have been more French than the engines not running on a Renault branded outfit?
I would have also loved to have seen them roll out the grill carts that the Parisian strikers take out when they're blocking the road, but to the middle of the Vegas F1 course.
Yeah, absolutely. Just everyone throwing high vis vests on and just sitting in front of the garage. It would go great.
Well, so many countries that F1 races in have such strong, safe, track records with labor laws. Yeah, so this would have gone over great.
Florida. Florida, Texas. Again, how is Nevada the wokest state that Formula One races in America? Just and the man who made this choice is the devil from the Bible. Victoria, are you familiar with a man named Flavio Briatore?
No, I assume you're making him up.
I wish I was, because he is kind of a tulpa of every sleazy European man. He is the average of all of these nightmares. Flavio Briatore is a former Heidi Klum boyfriend who there's some real rough allegations there, and also he's an Epstein frequent flyer. So
does he
cool
run?
Guy.
Does he run the F1 program
at Alpine? Yes, he does now. Because
hey, they've got such a track record of finding just the worst man alive and giving them a position of power.
This is the worst man alive who at one point was legally banned from Formula One because he is the mastermind of the only truly rigged race in the 21st century of Formula One, where he instructed Nelson Piquet Jr. to crash at the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix.
Oh my God!
So Fernando Alonso could win the race by having a pit strategy that only worked and made sense if, let's say you knew what lap your teammate was going to eat it into the wall at.
Oh my God!
because
Like, he's
of this,
allowed to be an F1 again? This is like if they told Pete Rose, like, hey man, you want to own a team?
It's like
That's insane.
it's like not only letting it's not only he's no longer punished for this, it's like he got his old job back. And that's like and now he might even have more influence than before because he got them to shut down their engine program for Formula One. And they
Okay.
are going to be a Mercedes customer, which means that a
I don't know.
Alpine brand
French-German collaboration historically has not gone great.
Vichy Alpine goes crazy. Ooh. This is one of many big changes at the Alpine Formula One outfit. But when they shut down the engine program, they said, "Hey, workers, don't worry. We love this Alpine hypercar. It would go on to win a race last year at the Fuji, the 6 Hours of Fuji. Like, we are doubling down. Let's go win Le Mans, baby. Let's do this. French car, French race. Let's fucking do it."
Okay, yeah, I could get behind some, like, good old-fashioned, patriotism. That never goes wrong. That's
Yeah,
never used to
absolutely.
mislead people.
No, never. Anyways, 2 weeks ago, after many rumors, Alpine announced that they were shutting down their hypercar program, and now no one knows what is going to happen to the just legendary motorsports facility at Viri. And it's just on the back of everything. How long have they been saying that they were going to bring Alpine to the US?
Oh God, they've been promising us that intermittently since I want to say like the 90s.
Uh-huh. And that Renault would come back, and now that Alpine is just like, they were like, well, if we're relaunching with the A110, which, by all accounts,
I would
fucking incredible.
literally kill somebody for an A110.
Yeah.
I lobby the government for a new law, billionaire kind of like pet project would be like, yeah, I don't want to do show and display. You're going to write a new law that says I can have this car now. They seem incredible. They'll sell it to you in the best colors I've ever seen.
You know how Trump went to Japan this last time and got really into K cars
Yes, I do.
and made a bullshit executive order, which, look, if it happens, critical
It's
support,
not gonna happen.
critical support. Can't even struggle through that one. I just need him to go to the south of France and get introduced to an A110 on good roads and just have him coming back and just be like, you could buy an A110 in any color you like and just like let it, maybe we can be happy in the fascism. But like, they announced that they were going to bring over not even like their new Renault 5 that they've rebadged as an Alpine. They were going to bring over an Alpine badged crossover. Yeah. That's gotten punted, I think, 3 total times now.
Yeah.
Because of quote unquote industry-wide problems. Which, I
what
have
would
to
those be?
Yeah, I have to assume a lot of it is probably like the tariffs are a component, right? Yeah. Any European car company that is trying to or does work with the US, like the tariffs are a really big problem now.
Well, however, I'm sure adding 15% to it this week will assuredly fix it.
God. Yeah, like
I watched that press conference, by the way, because I hate myself.
This is where I keep going that, like, look, I think maybe like one further step, but like I like politics too. Like, look, I get it. But also watching the man speak directly is one of those things where sure he might accidentally release another unfortunate banger. Like what is he saying? He wanted to be a good boy for the Supreme Court. Like
he did say direct quote, "I've been a good boy."
It's really God. He's so good at morning zoo crew radio drops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if we
no,
were a
it's-
way worse podcast with a soundboard, do you know
oh my
Do you
God.
know how often I would be hitting the "I'm hearing this now for the first time" button? God,
we would be a
Don't
menace
we?
with the sound. I would have an entire, like, you'd have like two soundboards. One is for like all of the like regularly occurring bits or whatever. The other one is just Trump clips, because he is unfortunately incredibly funny, to the point where I
Yeah.
was like watching him speak and he was still funny even while I was like actively like, oh my God, he's going to destroy everybody's livelihoods. I wonder if like Mussolini was this funny to fucking listen to. I really genuinely am like, were fascists always this goddamn funny because their brains were just so melted that you couldn't help but laugh?
Yeah, like, you know, W. Bush was pretty funny as well.
I know.
Like,
I routinely say, I have worked in there's a saying in Texas. I think they got it in Arkansas. I know they got it in Texas. If you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, can't get fooled again.
I think about that one a lot. I think about now watch this drive a lot. Anytime I'm about to do something, I am saying to myself, now watch this drive. Anyways,
Oh my God.
all of the Renault, let's make Alpine like our new prestige brand. Like, let's make it our Genesis and then bring it to the US. And then maybe bring like the new Renault 5 and all the cool electric stuff over. New CEO in said, hey, fuck all this racing bullshit. The F1 program at least makes money because we've sold a lot of it to like Ryan Reynolds and a bunch of other fuckers for some reason. Did you know that?
No.
Do you know Ryan
Deadpool
Reynolds
owns
has used,
Renault, apparently.
Deadpool owns a chunk of the Renault Formula One team, which is once again a sentence that I say out loud and I go, did I die sometime in the early 2010s? And like, is this hell? Like, is this actually hell?
It does kind of feel fever dreamish. I mean, it's cool to see that like the automaker strategy of point gun directly at foot, unload magazine, it continues to work successfully for every car company on Earth. Where they're like, yeah, don't worry, we're gonna pull this off. Check this shit out. And just, oh my God, my foot's bleeding. I can't believe it.
It's the now watch this, I am dead in a cloud of smoke. Like, it also feels that I, like, just putting a gun to your head and screaming, is this what you want? But as corporate strategy, like, I fucking murder suicide by cop of corporate strategy. Like, yeah, new CEO is in at Renault and has immediately shut down the hypercar program, which again just started to come good at the end of last year. So we'll see what this year is like, but it's just a bummer. And once again, a huge problem with any class of motorsports is always going to be OEMs are going to make your series strong. However, OEMs are so at the whim of board changes and overall financial market foibles
Yeah.
that fluctuations was the word I was actually looking for, but I like foibles as well. That like they're gonna leave. And like the WEC, sure, Ford's coming in, McLaren's coming in, but they've already like Audi didn't even make it to entry. Renault is leaving. Someone else, Lamborghini just left. Like, it looks both very promising, but it's also like, the tariff meltdown actually fully happens, and guess what? Like, you're gonna be back to a Le Mans where there's like Toyota and fucking the James Cameron Glickenhaus is there or whatever, and that's your top class
Toyota
fight.
is still gonna figure out how to lose.
Oh God, no. I still have my press email saved from when they finally won Le Mans. Because I remember that year where they broke down leading with like one lap to go.
Yeah, after they were
And
like
that
23 hours and 48 minutes in.
maybe the most recent one of those times that motorsport made my tummy hurt so bad it ruined the rest of my day. Like,
Yeah, well, hey, on the bright side, maybe global motorsport is screwed up because of tariffs, but we have the great American race still. We still have IndyCar.
yeah.
We're going to the 250.
We're
I signed up for emails. I signed up for the minute they got a track diagram, it's going to my inbox. I signed up to get notified for tickets. Granted, I'm not buying anything until they show me where they're going to race.
I'm not buying tickets until they've like practice has started. You know what I mean?
They should just have the IndyCar race at an active Reagan airport. Just to throw another level of complexity into the DC
worst
airspace.
thing that's ever happened at Ronald Reagan International. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, motorsports.
You did have, so we do, you did have one other thing on here that was kind of like, and we aren't all doomed. Because like, I think so far this episode, we've been pretty doom heavy.
This is why we originally had talked about maybe flopping the order of things around. But on the cycle of this podcast being we're so back, it's so over, I feel like it's been a lot of it's so over lately.
Yeah,
let's talk
it's
about
been pretty
shit
over.
being so back, Victoria. I'm so pumped.
Okay. So we talked about this briefly in the first episode, but I do want to reintroduce the concept to people. Jordan and I are both film photographers.
Perverts.
I am working on a book called Pollination that relies heavily on the physical medium of film for its like thesis, which you can read about on the Patreon. Jordan does a lot of street photography. I also do a lot of street photography. So we both are really big into film. So sometimes, occasionally, we'll bring this up on here because we want to talk about it, and it's our podcast. And I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to be this successful, so we kind of were just like, we'll just talk about whatever. Then it was successful. We're still not changing it. You still have to listen to us talk about film.
Yeah. If what's the way to introduce this? Is it bankruptcy to present day or present day back to bankruptcy?
Well, so I think so. You should lay out the thing that you noticed because it is quite interesting.
Over the last couple of months, starting with the release of Kodacolor 100 and 200 at the end of last year, for the first time since I was a child, Kodak Eastman, Eastman? Why am I pronouncing it like that? Kodak Eastman, is selling film not direct to consumers, but like direct to retailers, which is
they're selling
new.
consumer film in their own packaging.
Yes. And they, at first I was like, oh, they don't like, Kodacolor has not been part of the lineup. Maybe they're just allowed to do like things they're not already selling. But then, over the last couple of months, more and more films have trickled out in this direct from Eastman branding, can we talk about the corporate logo rebrand? Like their design language for the new boxes? Good.
Yeah.
It's good. It was like a week or two ago that they announced, I think the big one for you and me, is joining their lineup, where they have announced that Ektachrome, their color reversal slide film for everyone who wants to live their madman fantasy of using a real slide projector. And they're bringing Ektar into their own self-distributed lineup of film.
Yeah.
Here's the weird thing. Kodak Eastman has a pretty robust press page, and I spent an entire day looking through their media releases, and I even was starting to look at just their full financial corporate reports. There's zero press of why they're finally doing this. Like, I know you have a theory, but let's
I do.
just explain.
I'm rubbing my hands together because I'm getting ready for my theory.
Like, the best article I could find about the whole thing is basically talking what we're going to hit. So, we'll link it there. But after Kodak went bankrupt in 2012, because, the late Bush years to the first Obama term were normal for the American consumer goods market. And Kodak was Kodak. They're a film company. They struggled with the transition to digital cameras. Like,
Even though they invented it, they still they didn't take advantage of this at all, and kind of were like, well, no, film. We'll just do film forever. Don't worry about it. We'll sit on digital cameras. They would kill our film sales.
They spent way too much fucking money on that APS system.
Yeah, well, and they also, I think crucially, they did not invest early enough in kind of the crucial technology of transsexuality, because, we are single-handedly floating the Kodak Corporation. Every trans woman under the age of 45 years old who lives in a major city is shooting film, and I think that we deserve credit for saving a great American institution based out of Rochester, New York.
Hey, feds, don't listen for a little bit. Hey, transsexual woman who brews your own estrogen at home. I need you to fucking Photoshop brand me Kodak estradiol. I know they think about how good it would look. If it's all there. They're even doing pharmaceuticals. That's the thing I learned where they pivoted in 2020 into doing pharmaceuticals at Eastman.
They got the lab.
It's
chemicals.
Up with
the boys.
It's chemicals.
They have spiritually always been kind of like the let's cook Jesse of American corporations to me. I don't know if that's true or not. I know that the traditional kind of Howard Hughes maniac of the American photography industry was Edwin Land, who did the Polaroid and was just kind of a lunatic from what I hear, and also a perfectionist. I don't know if Kodak was quite that crazy with it, but Jordan was getting at the kind of weird financial straits that Kodak found themselves in after the great financial crash.
Okay. All right. I think that's not that evil. I was going to say, I feel like in the scheme of American chemical companies, they're actually on the less evil scale of things as well, which makes them kind of friendly.
Were insanely racist for a really long time.
That's fair. Okay.
I believe they integrated their workforce significantly after many other companies did. They were
okay, that's
really
not good.
Into it. Yeah, no.
Do you know what I was Googling with a tense expression on my phone, though?
No.
I was Googling the phrase Kodak war crimes, which, other than discontinuing Aerochrome...
a camera company that... You would need to go to Leica if you had to go to a company with a long and storied history of war crimes.
Did you see how much the swastika Leicas were going for?
Yeah, they're always worth a ton of money because, again, it's just people who are oh my god, it's Ferry Porsche's original design for the 356. It's yeah, a fucking Nazi built it. And they're but it's so beautiful, it's so pure and German, and it's that's the problem.
The phrase pure and German freaks me the fuck out, man.
Yeah, do you mind if I just go into it with the
go for it.
The backstory here? Okay, so just to explain and just to understand my theory of why Kodak Eastman is directly selling to consumers or selling to retailers, which is the same thing here, I have to get into their backstory. In 2012, the company, the Eastman Kodak, makes all the film. They've always made all the film. They have never not made film, but there are two structures here. There's Eastman Kodak that owns the factory and labs in Rochester. They make the medication now, apparently. And then there's Kodak Alaris. Kodak Alaris was spun off during the Chapter 11 bankruptcy of the whole Kodak Corporation in 2012. It was a way of fulfilling obligations to the British employees' pension fund. And so the Kodak Alaris company got the exclusive rights to a bunch of naming and branding, which is part of why you can find I have a Kodak T-shirt from like Forever 21 back when that was still a thing. That they branded it very broadly. That's kind of how they met their obligations to the pension fund. But one of the other things they got was the distribution rights to all of the consumer film. So Kodak Eastman kept the rights to, they still kept making all the film, and they kept the rights to selling direct to movie studios. So they sold big rolls of, the stuff that the film studios are getting. Anything you got went through Kodak Alaris as a man-in-the-middle reseller before it got to you. So everything, the name kind of was like interchangeably Kodak for both companies, but nobody really cared or noticed because they could just buy the film. Now, in 2020, the British pension fund returns were no longer being satisfied by what Kodak Alaris was doing. So the fund was adopted by the UK government because they have a pension protection fund. They took control of Kodak Alaris, held onto it for a couple of years, and then the British government took their stake in Kodak Alaris and sold it to, guess who? I'll give you one guess.
It's private equity. We promise this one gets happier, though. This one's this one's not a bummer.
It's Kodak Alaris went to a private equity firm, Kingswood Capital in California. They also own World Market.
Shit.
Yeah. There's like 6 companies that own everything on Earth. It's crazy.
You want to buy fucked up foreign candy. You want to hit a blinker in your car and go buy some fucked up snacks. World Market. Hello.
So yeah, this sale happened at the end of 2024. And my theory, there was a lot of people who got really anxious, and it was like, no, this is just Alaris being sold. The issue that people were concerned about at the time was that Alaris would go under, being stripped for parts by private equity, and then they wouldn't be able to get film. It would only be sold directly to movie studios because they'd lose the rights. My theory here, and there was nothing publicized about this, so this is pure conjecture. Like, this is just me trying to
think you're right,
figure out what happened. I think they used the sale of Kodak Alaris to a private equity firm as a chance to renegotiate what Kodak Eastman could do with their film. And I think they got the rights to sell directly to consumers. I suspect they're still giving Alaris a cut. I suspect that this deal is part of why they're cracking down on respoolers. So if you buy there are a ton of films out there that are it's vintage color 200 or whatever. Every single film you buy that is color film, black and white is a different story, but color film comes from one of 2 sources. It either comes from, one of 3 now that there's Chinese companies doing it, but we can't get those in America still. There's Fuji, which does not really sell color film in the U.S. All the Fuji film that you buy in the U.S.
Film.
Yeah, they sell slide film. They still sell Superia in Japan. And they still make Superia in Japan. Yeah, we can't get it here because they hate us, which, honestly, fair enough.
Sure. Yeah.
Or it is made by Kodak. So every single thing that you buy that is a color film in the U.S. that is a color negative is made by Kodak, including Fujifilm. Fuji 400 in the U.S. is just Kodak.
It's Fuji 200
they do a little different,
yeah.
Yeah, they do a little extra base coating on the Fuji 400, so it does actually look a little different, which is why you get nice rich greens out of it, but it is still done by Kodak. So, I think there are a lot of reports of these companies that sell, vintage color 400, whatever. They're finding it hard to get the bulk spools to then respool, and I'm wondering if that is partially because of this deal too. But whatever happened during this private equity sale, I think that was the moment that Eastman got the chance to sell the film directly. So I think this is fantastic because Kodak Eastman, they're financially healthy. They still own the factories. They still make the film. There's still a vibrant and thriving cinematography audience for all of their film.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been a resurgence in film, again, because of new innovations in the field of transsexuality. We are the vanguard of doing cool analog shit with old technology.
Also, genuinely, we cannot understate the amount that we're joking, but also film is just having I feel like this is one of those late millennial Gen Z like pushbacks against how technical, or like not how technical, that's the wrong word, how like digital everything has been,
Yeah.
and just trying to like do things with less screens.
Yeah.
Like the amount of my friends who are not just trans women that are shooting film right now in Pittsburgh, immense. Pittsburgh, wonderland for film photography. And like, you know, I think that Eastman getting this control back, I hope they're getting more of their sales, because that will lead to new stocks, which would
Oh
be
my God. Yes.
pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the thing that's cool here is like when Alaris kills itself because it's private equity owned, we can still get film. You know, if Eastman can sell it directly to us, we don't have to worry about the distribution side of things going, belly up, tits up, a la Hooters, if you will. And then we don't get to, buy film anymore, because that would destroy the U.S. market. If Kodak stops making film, it's over.
Yeah.
Fuji barely makes Velvia and Provia and sells it here. I'm not even sure how much they're even shipping here. It's always in short supply. It's also like $30 a roll.
It's been way less because of the tariffs. That's why we've been seeing
God.
less of it enter the U.S. It's apparently plentiful in
Donald Trump.
Asia.
Donald Trump, you have taken away my toy trains. You have taken away the Alpine A110, and now you've taken away my favorite slide film.
Did you see?
Can you just insert a long bleep for
Lionel
me?
got sold?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can talk about that next week.
Welcome to Tran Girlismo, the private equity news movers and shakers
Oh,
podcast.
goddamn. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. But like, yeah. I think it's good. Like, I always,
great.
like, when I was getting into film last year, trying to figure out you almost needed the Jesus is not God, is not the Holy Spirit diagram, where it's like Alaris is not always Kodak, but Kodak is always Alaris, and the pension fund is over here.
Yeah.
And and then it's just like, oh, but like, well, surely Fuji 200, 400 are not Kodak. And they're like, look inside, it's Kodak. Like,
it's good
like
film,
what?
ma'am.
Like what? Lomography purely is buying bulk film, and not, that's wrong. Like, Lomography commissions emulsions at this point. Like, they're big enough that
yeah.
like,
But,
Purple
like,
isn't respooled anything. Purple is something that they,
Yeah, I think it's like a regular film substrate applied to like a weird tint layer on it or something.
It's gotta be, yeah.
I don't know how it works. I've never bothered shooting it. I am not a lomography girl. I want my pictures I am an Eggleston enjoyer. I want my pictures to look realer than real. I want them to be off-putting and unsettling sometimes, or like a, love letter to people I care about. Those are the two genres.
And this is why hyper-saturated slide film is your jam right now.
Oh God, yeah.
But also, like, I have fun with Lomo Purple from time to time. I just think it's neat. I think it's a funky thing, because for me, it's like, that is my car show film of choice.
Yeah.
Because red cars pop so good on the purple stock, and then if you get, like, if it's on a lawn somewhere, the lawn is this otherworldly color.
Yeah.
Like, it's got its place. Anyways, that's me being an artistic jagoff. But like, new Kodacolor 100 and 200, is it the best, sharpest film out there? No. But do you know what it is? It's fucking cheap.
Yeah.
New Kodacolor is like $8 a roll. And like, sure, that's not Devon Scan or whatever, but like, it's
Devon
so
home,
cheap.
Scan at home. I'm fully off of like, I'm not even taking my stuff to stores anymore. I can't afford it. It's just, my wife is getting a sous vide from a friend of mine, and we are going to cook it at home.
My friend is starting to do black and white dev at home, and I am so pumped for that. Harman. I guess Harman now is making color films, I guess.
Okay, yes. Harman, I forgot that Phoenix is a film. The first revision, Phoenix 200, it was not. That was barely legible.
I've never shot
Phoenix
the first.
2 is actually pretty usable. I actually kind of like it in some circumstances. That is its own film. That is not done by Kodak.
I
You're correct.
underexposed my
You
role
caught
to
me
hell.
slipping.
Yeah.
It's very easy to expose it to hell because it's listed as an ISO 200 film. It is like closer to 125. If you shoot it at 125, it looks so much better. I think they marketed it as 200 so they can be like, oh yeah, you can get more speed out of it. So it's like, no, give me the truth so I can shoot it right. Again, I want my pictures, if I'm shooting on film, they should look as good as they possibly can for the film that I am using. I do not want to shoot stuff that it's like dark and be like, ooh, I'm going to post this to r/film and be like, look at the vibes, the tones. It's like, no, I want literal.
And then here I am. I'm still in my firm. I know what I like to shoot, and I'm just going to experiment with stocks.
Yeah.
Because to me, experimenting with physical stocks is one of those things that I'm like, oh my God. And we even have such a limited amount compared to there's all these weird boutique respooled things like, Street Savvy's out there respooling old, like, fucking ATM surveillance films. So, like, we do have, like, weird shit going on out there.
Yeah.
But, like, if Phoenix 2 was oh my God. Do you know what a roll of Lucky 200 from China is with
No, I really want to get my hands on some. Oh.
One of my local shops was selling it for $24 a roll. It is a USD like $6 roll in China.
Oh my God. Chairman G, my people yearn for cheap color film.
I will welcome Chinese paratroopers as friends and heroes.
Please send J35 and Lucky 200.
Flavored cigarettes. That one's a joke.
Oh my God. No, I would let that probably wreck me.
But yeah, I really hope Eastman can use this extra money for, I hope they're getting extra money, At the very least, it does. Ooh, this is almost accidentally patriotic. It does feel good to know that, like, it is almost an integrated pipeline at this point,
Yeah.
Like, it does feel like a return of classic American business what happened to me? I felt something horrifying where I'm just like, shareholder value.
Oh my God.
But
that's the thing, right? It's like if you're it turns out if your goal running a company is not to strip it for parts immediately, but to like actually sustain it for a while, you can do that much longer. I still think that you end up at the same kind of contradictions because that's my whole thing. Like that's my belief system. But if your goal isn't, I have to make $1 trillion in the next 20 minutes or, Peter Thiel is going to shoot me in the back of the head, you can build a slightly more sustainable business model. Also being able to do end-to-end logistics is like, that's like why the US was good at fighting wars for a while.
That we should be able to be supplied with fresh rolls of Kodak gold anywhere in the United States. Like, we should be.
That's really the true kind of American imperialism is that like 24 hours after you declare a war, you can have boots on the ground. 36 hours later, you could have fresh rolls of Kodak gold there.
A Burger King, a Diet Coke, and a clean 36 frame roll of Ektachrome.
I will also say, before we end the episode, there's one other thing I wanted to add, which is any of these companies that do make film can buy my silence forever, and I will praise them endlessly in exchange for a large pallet of slide film.
I will shoot any expired bullshit I get my hands on. I'm cheap. Give me. I've yet to shoot the 60-year-old roll of film that I bought on accident a while ago. I just finished shooting.
Pulling it out of a U2.
I bought Provia for less than $30. You want to know how? It expired when I was in high school. So I'm about to. Hey, Pittsburgh, if you do need a place to Davin scan E6 and C41 color film, Eastern Standard Photo is my new favorite place to get dev'd and scanned. I love to give a woman money for my film. Anyways.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, we aren't sponsored by anybody. The only way we make any money is because our wonderful listeners give us $4 in exchange for bonus episodes, like we just released this past weekend. However, and I will never take money from, like, you know, you're never gonna hear. If you ever hear, hey, I'm Vicky, and I'd like to talk to you about Squarespace. Something's gone wrong. I'm calling for help. I am in a hostage situation. Please come rescue me. However, if you are a company that makes film, I will totally do the ad read.
I'll sell out. I'm going to be real.
Oh, yeah.
I've got
in an instant.
Look, if
I'm
we
never
ever
selling out for a car, but for film, absolutely.
I'll sell out for a car. Look, if you want to give me $40,000 so I can immediately spend that money on a used V8 Vantage, let me tell you, your girl's game. I'll sell out in a second for almost anything.
It would be incredibly funny for you to do an advertisement and then for me to just rip into the company you just shilled for.
That's most podcast ads. Have you ever listened to the fucking anything that ever got advertised by Chumba Casino? Do you know what a Chumba Casino is? We talked about this on the bonus, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because the the fucking Indy 500, the Daytona 500 winning car was the fucking Chumba Casino car, and it's Chumba Casino car, Nicholas Maduro techwear, Wokebat Farah. These are the things that this show will just have. These are the things I will be talking about in the dementia ward eventually.
Well, I
think that's a podcast, especially since my wife just texted me, "Are you done with your podcast?" So I think that brings us to the end of another episode. Victoria, do you have anything you want to plug?
Thanks to our subscribers for giving us questions for the bonus episode. We put that out this past weekend, and I think it was a looser format than even normal somehow, but people seem to like it. So thank you. If you have ideas and you're a subscriber, please hit me up with like what you'd like for future bonus episode formats. We will have merch hopefully very soon. I'm going to try to open pre-orders for t-shirts because people keep asking me. Thank you for listening.
We're going to do logo stickers. We're going to do logo shirts. If there's anything else you would genuinely buy, let us know. I don't want to be one of those podcasts that markets to hell, but also, guess what? The logo's fucking good, ladies and gentlemen. It's fucking good. And as always, our theme is by my wonderful wife, Stella, and you can buy her album, Pay What You Can or Pay What You Want. It's Horse Tranquilizer Simulator. It is available on Bandcamp and will be in the show notes. I really have to say that recording the first bonus felt good. And I have a day job. This is podcasting is Victoria's job. The Patreon is Victoria's job. Victoria is my dear, dear friend, and giving her money is good. So yes, thank you for supporting us. And as always, we don't say anything as always. We'll see you next week.